Like most people, I was pretty clueless about financial education as a kid, but I had the spirit of hustle in me. One of my earliest memories of entrepreneurship goes back to when I was selling fish door to door. Just imagine wiping the sleep dust out of your eyes at 4 in the morning, heading down to a freezing pier and sitting for hours until you'd caught enough mackerel to sell for a profit. Not only that, but grabbing a slimy fish from a bag, ringing a doorbell, looking a person straight in the eye and pitching to them. This built up my confidence and sales skills, two of the earliest skills I needed to learn to be successful. As I earned, I soon found that any money I made wasn't really mine. Instead, it would go to places like McDonald's and the girl I happened to be dating. I always seemed to have just enough. This is called lifestyle inflation, the tendency to spend more as you make more. Whatever you earn, it becomes your new baseline, and that's the trap. But being a car fanatic, I've always dreamed of owning a Ferrari. I felt as if they sent such a strong signal to others that you've made it. I'd often speak to my friend Paul, who worked as a valet parking cars for the rich and famous. He once told me something that changed my perspective on luxuries. He said, when people would drive up to the hotel in their Ferraris, they would watch me gawk and love every moment of it. I'm sure they felt admired, important, even respected. But actually, you know what, Mark? I didn't care about them or even notice them. Instead, I thought, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. And I wonder how many people buy these cars without realizing that people rarely give the driver a moment's thought. I learned that no one would be as impressed with my possessions and luxuries as much as me. People want to be respected and admired by others, but competence, intelligence, and kindness will bring you so much more respect than horsepower ever will. With all the information out there on the internet about how to make money or get rich quick, it can be hard to separate the truth from the marketing. Internet gurus have been getting wealthy for the past decade, telling other people how they can get rich, and there's a whole industry out there based on fantasy. But the truth is, wealth is not always what you see, but what you don't see. I decided instead I'd quietly follow my own path to wealth. But in order to do this, I needed a budget. A budget is knowing where your money will go versus where it went. Little by little, and for the first time, I started seeing my savings account go up. I started building an emergency fund, basically money for a rainy day. I didn't know exactly when or why it would rain, only that one day it would. One day, my boss approached me and ordered me to start making wooden trash cans. I made trash can after trash can. The hours would just crawl by so slowly. I went to my boss and asked him how long I'd have to keep doing this. Until the orders stopped coming in, which is probably never, he said, and I felt so deflated. Although I was saving money, I didn't feel passionate about what I was doing, but I wasn't thinking big enough. After all, I didn't care about luxury, so why would I need more money? Then it hit me. I realised that control over your time is the greatest thing money can buy. If I had passive income, I could spend my time doing the things I really loved. The problem is, it takes a lot of time or money to start making enough passive income to become financially free. We spend thousands of hours every year working in the pursuit of money, so I asked myself, what was I truly passionate about? I had a burning passion for radio controlled models, and I noticed many people in this industry were making a lot of mistakes. I saw the true potential and the ways that I could improve on what had come before me. I once read in a book that if you could identify a problem and you had a better way of doing things, you could turn it into a business. Stage 2, the hustle. This is when I went from $20,000 to $100,000. So I got to work. I was so excited about my business plans that I shared them with a close friend and confidant, and to my shock, the unimaginable happened. He stole my idea and set up my entire business for himself. But before I get into that, first I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Public.com. Let's be honest, 2022 has been a pretty volatile year for the stock market, and that's exactly why our long-term sponsor, Public.com, wants to help you become a better investor. On Public, you can invest in individual stocks as well as ETFs, all the while learning from notable investors, analysts and top CEOs with their optional social features and town halls. My favourite thing about Public is they don't participate in payment for order flow by selling your trades to market makers, meaning they have no reason to incentivise you to trade more than necessary, like some other platforms do. On Public, you can invest, learn and see what top investors are doing all in one place. And the best part is, for a limited time, you can get a free start worth between $3,000 and $1,000 with the link down below in the description. Anyway, Back to the story. The reality is that I needed some money to pursue my dream, but my savings just weren't enough. I wasn't about to give up. I drew up a business plan, went to the bank and applied for my first loan. It wasn't easy and I had to visit multiple banks. However, eventually I secured the money I needed. While some people earn their wealth investing in the stock market, I reinvested the earnings from my businesses to open more stores and even buy back my original idea from my old friend. I started to know more and more people in the business world. A lot of these individuals became my mentors and would teach me things like how to build a business that scales, how to improve sales, and how to manage people. As my income grew and I solved problems, I was not only growing my net worth, but becoming a top 1% man as well. As the good times continued, I increasingly bet on them continuing, which led to one of my most significant life crashes and moments of despair. I remember it like it was yesterday, walking into the shop that I had initially started to give my father a job in his later years, and instead of being greeted by the magical emporium filled with all the toys that I could have only dreamed of having as a kid, I was met with a smashed roof, empty shelves, and my products laying broken, thrown across the floor. This hit me so hard that the memory has been seared into my subconscious, and I sometimes still see it when I close my eyes. You may think, it's all right, Mark, I know you, I bet you had insurance, everything was okay, and you bounced back. Well, in fact, I'd grown so fast and I was making so much money that not everything was correctly structured within my